Hey everybody, I'm Sam.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Will, and we are
WorkingTitleReacts. Blow it in the enemy's face.
Burr.
Guys, we are back for another episode of Vinland Saga. This is Season 1, Episode 22, Lone Wolf.
Rawr.
Last on, Leif Erikson saw his,
Long lost
I was going to say surrogate son.
friend.
Yeah, I don't know what you'd call him. Crazy uncle that's not by relation. A fake Canute got shot, and it's all to start the deception amongst the ranks of the king's party to make everybody think that the king is starting some shite. Also, we lost Bjorn.
Rest in peace.
Oh,
Rest
rip.
his soul. Askeladd and him had a duel, and the truth came out. Askeladd was his friend in the end.
Yes.
We're going to hop into it. This is a three-parter. We're finishing it tonight. So by the time you see this video, go to town with spoilers, because when it comes out, we're up to date with you guys. So,
And guys, if you like this video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you know when we drop more Vinland Saga reactions. Comment down below what you think about this episode. If you want to see this episode 1 week in advance, along with the rest of the episodes to finish up the season, join our Patreon. Hit the link in the description so you can support the channel. We love it, and we would really appreciate y'all.
It's not a market substitute. Go on whatever anime streaming service you prefer. Come back to YouTube. Watch your boys' reaction. We're gonna punch it. Bah!
and they're fighting.
Right.
Yep. Thorfinn and Askeladd. Little evil child.
Every day I'm like, man, fuck this kid. Let's let the story not be about him for a minute.
Yeah.
Because it just hasn't.
Oh, come on.
We're gonna have to
You gotta
relive this
replay
moment?
it.
Come on, man. I don't want to relive this.
God, you missed the vital point.
Frank, man.
Why?
俺のたった一人の友達だ。さて。
Oh, he's got a glow like Canute.
I hope he breaks
This kid's
his arm.
so dead.
I hope he breaks his arm again, honestly. Like at this stage in life.
Whoa, he's sweating. Holy
It's an
shit.
intense moment for him. It could
Yeah.
be his life or death.
いつもとは違うな。
Yeah, he's got the aura of power around him.
He just had to kill his friend.
どちらでも構わぬ。
I don't care.
どちらも死なぬうちに止める。
そんなこと言うなよ。こんな手だれ同士の決闘、そうそう拝めるもんじゃねえんだぜ。
Now he looks like he belongs in like modern military.
そなたはどちらが強いと考える。
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like a Call of Duty character.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he looks like,
Captain Price.
なぜそう思う？
he reminds me of Woods.
Yeah.
なんとなく。
ドルフィンはそなたに勝ったのであろう。アシュラットはそれ以上か。
てめえ惜しい。
Whoa.
3人の中でこの俺様が一番弱い。どうしたトロフィン。来いよ。振りが強くなる前に終わらせて。
Is he gonna pass out?
He looks older.
俺、攻めやすくなったろ。
No way.
来い。
Come on.
Boy.
Break his arm.
Just
Snap his arm.
He just stopped him.
Yep. Oh my god.
な、
Whoa.
まだわかんねえのか。なんでこうなるのか。
Oh!
He's out of his league.
Yeah!
Oh, dude, Thorfinn.
さっきの訂正勝負やってねえ
This isn't a duel.
It was a
トル
beatdown.
フィンのやつ
He's just slaughtering the
そ
kid.
んなやってんな決闘の理由は
What's the reason for the duel?
知らぬ聞いていない
Oh, so these two are the only ones that know why they're even fighting.
Yeah.
いい加減うんざりするぜ片手でこの俺に勝てると思ったか
Oh god.
やめろ
Yeah, come on now. Yeah. I mean, that was. Ugh. God. Imagine you just
も
killed
うよ
him.
せトルフィンおいトルフィン
Oi. Wake up.
わかるか決闘はもう終わったぞ
Do you get
そ
it?
なたの負けだよせもう終わりだ
This kid.
What?
気を失ったのだ
Yeah.
すでにとどめを刺され
No,
て
no, you didn't pass out. You got knocked out. There's a difference. There's a
右腕
huge
が治ってから
difference.
Dude, his nose is broken. His
Ask
eye
Lad.
socket is broken.
Askeladd handicaps him so hard.
Yeah.
そのバカはバカだから負ける
You're a loser. You're an idiot because you're a loser.
戦うようになってきちゃいるがいっぺん頭に血が上ったら
Yeah.
全部
He gets angry and it's all over.
Yep.
すぐにぶち切れてでけえ声出して
Level
この
head.
振り回すのはバカの戦だ初めて殺した相手もノルド戦士だった美しくない男だったぜ
He was a squealer.
俺の親父だ
Oh, wow.
小僧高額のために教えてやる憎い相手の殺し方をな
Halfway already?
No, they're just doing these now where it's just early because all the good content's the second half.
おふくろは病気で働くことができなかった何でも物心つく頃には火事場や馬屋の下働きだった
So he's a strong kid, is what they're saying.
ついたあだ名がアシェラッド
Oh, from the ashes.
灰まみれって意味だ
Oh.
酒と女と殺
He
し合
looks
っ
just
た
like
な
Askeladd.
Yeah.
Wow.
どこにでもいるようなバイキングだ俺みたいなガキをあちこちの女に産ませてたらしいが名を与えたのは本妻の産んだ年長の子供たちだけだった
Wow.
So he didn't have a name?
No.
それ以外のガキなんざ顔も覚えちゃいなかっただろうぜ
Or that they even existed.
Yeah.
Or out there.
Piece of shit.
病を得てからは犬と同じ扱いだった
You're a good kid.
おふくろはよく先祖の英雄アルトリウスの話をした、
The Grand Warrior.
同じ話を何度もした自分も病や奴隷身分から解き放ってくれる者の再来をな、あんまり繰り返すもんだからよ俺も信じるようになった英雄はまだ現れないもし本当にご先祖様がそんないいところに暮らしてるならよ
Why would he want to leave?
こんな世界に帰ってくるわけやね
Good point.
そして俺が11の時ついにおふくろの心が折れた
Oh gosh.
It's the warrior.
No, it's her. Olaf.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
よりにもよってたまたま通りかかった親父のことを
Was
英
a
雄は
Exactly, yeah.
勘違いしたらしい
tell me. Oh my gosh.
No way.
今この時アルトリウスがおふくろを助けに来ないのならそんなものは永遠に来ないのだと
Yeah! Oh, so close.
思議なもんだ。涙が出るぜ。
Oh.
Hope that sword just falls
Yeah.
through him.
わしの子か。
そうです。
見込みがある。今日から館に進め。いつも親父を立てるように気を使ってね。じきに周りも身内もすっかり俺を親父の子として受け入れるようになった。
And then mom still lived in the stable.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Like,
こ
really?
の作業に。
What?
Who?
Oh.
狙いは2つ。親父の油断と遺産の相続権だ。使ったのは兄貴の剣だ。親父と仲の悪い奴から選んでる。
Oh my god!
Wow.
兄貴たちが犯人と思い込んで。
Oh, I love this
On the
kid.
hand.
一にかけて
Oh.
Yeah, of course.
単純な奴だ。
So simple.
Oh my goodness.
バカで不潔で。
And filthy.
てめえの欲望以外に何もねえクソだ。
Gosh, the demon-like.
Yep, that's what the Vikings are apparently.
アルトリウスでもラグナロクでも最後の審判でも何でもいいからよ。マジに来るなら急いでもらいたいもんだぜ。生きちゃいられねえだろうがな。
Canute's probably gonna love him after this speech. It's like right down his alley.
長くなったら要するにだ、ドルフィン。
Stop being trash.
10年以上かけて俺一人倒せないお前は
10
ボ
years.
ンクラだって話さ。
You're an idiot.
ったく言ってるそばからそれかよ。犬メディアに餌に釣られて駆け回りやがる。
Damn.
Put him in this place.
Yeah.
Get this kid to stop being such a
頭が
nuisance.
下がるよ。茶番みてえな決闘に付き合ってやるだけであのトルカルにまでホイホイ挑んでいくんだもんな。便利なガキだよ。
Yeah, he's been using him his whole life, and Thorfinn doesn't even realize it.
まったくトールズにも感謝しねえと
Oh, oh no.
I feel like at this point you just got cuffed that kid's hand or something. Like, I don't know what it's gonna do.
I thought he should have done that.
もうよせ。
Yeah, keep walking,
今
Canute.
は傷を癒せ。
Let him pout.
情けね
You lost that kid. Just remember. Don't forget,
Yeah.
Don't forget that, Dorkel.
え。やれやれ。すっかり硬くなっちまったな、ベオラ。
Dang, Bjorn ain't no small guy.
No.
Gee,
No,
Christmas. Bad legs and all.
英雄の末裔はそなたであろう、アジラット。再起もある。己自身が王となり、世を変えようとは思わぬのか。
あなたの方が王にふさわしい。俺はただのバイキングですよ。
Is this gonna be the scene from the intro?
Oh, Canute following him.
Thorfinn looking up at them. Your face is fucked.
Goodness gracious.
And a gurney.
He's been through a lot.
Dear Lord, when do we start this show? I feel like I haven't seen that face in forever.
I think we started back in May. Poor We here.
That was episode 22 of Vinland Saga Lone Wolf. Escalade backstory. Gentlemen. Initial thoughts.
Beautiful episode.
Beautiful episode.
And sad episode.
I've been waiting for our flashback episode for Escalade.
He has a sad story.
Yeah, he does.
We did know that, but I think seeing it truly fleshed out puts it a little bit in perspective, I guess, his mentality a bit.
Yeah.
Or I guess his, what is it called when you like fully know who you are? And there's like, I don't know the term.
I mean, there's he has like full
gonna say,
self-realization and
Yeah.
a purpose. I mean, not necessarily a purpose, because it seemed like he lived without one for a really long time.
Yeah.
He had like drive. I was
Motivation.
I was about to do the rock song.
Yeah, were you?
I was, but yeah, no.
It's about drive.
Yeah, he had like a drive to do something that no other child would. I mean, like, you know, honestly,
way.
him and Thorfinn,
Yeah.
like, very similar in that regard, where Thorfinn dedicated his whole life to killing this dude. I mean, Askeladd came to that realization way later in his life, you know, because he was 11 years old versus like 5, or 6 or whatever Thorfinn was. But I mean, same type of thing with like deciding that he was going to, you know, kill his real father and just like full on committed to it for 2 years.
Yeah.
And waited for the perfect opportunity, the perfect strategy and plan to get it done.
I get Arya Stark vibes from him for some reason.
Well, yeah, it's this episode. I think now it makes sense to me because I was like, what did this do? Because in a way, we did know the majority of the info minus the Thorfinn parallel, which was that he went after a person he hated. You can see what's funny that you said Arya, because last episode I said I don't know who's worse, Thorfinn or Arya, because they literally have the same revenge story in the sense of their spoiler, the fathers died and their whole devotion now is this
revenge.
Hateful revenge, somewhat reasonable and a lot misplaced on like the why it happened. Yes, Askeladd killed him, but like we talked about it the other day, has Thorfinn been so hard-headed that he hasn't even asked the killer why or like what led you to it? Because we all know Floki asked for the hit, which then you would think would put his drive on the more honed individual that it should be focused on.
Person who put the hit.
Yeah.
If you want, I mean, unless you want to call it's the whole thing they talked about in Game of Thrones is how much of the blame do you want to put on the executioner who was given the job by a higher up, which Askeladd, in my opinion, has more leeway than an executioner ordered by a king.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more responsibility put on Askeladd because he's a freelancer that was given the job. He's like, sure, I'll do it.
But to be honest, like, as you were saying, who was Askeladd before he realized Canute could be this king for him where he had his drive? Who was he beforehand? Maybe he was just a sellsword out to do what the higher-ups of the hierarchy of Vikings told him to do. And maybe he was just an executioner at the time who was trying to make money for his boys that he didn't realize he hated yet. Because he said he didn't hate them yet. It was a 10-year period, which I think was when Thorfinn came into the picture, that he started to hate the Vikings.
Yeah.
So, what's crazy about this episode is it really shows the parallel of the two, but also how different they went about it.
Yeah, how different their choices and their lives have been.
And I hope that this is like a learning curve for Thorfinn. Because as we say every episode, this kid gets insufferable by the day. Yeah. Even though I enjoy his insufferable
he's a fucking rock.
presence, he's so damn
he's a brick wall.
stubborn. It's funny. It makes for funny moments when he shows up on screen and he just does the typical thing. But yeah, so we got to see the one who had the drive and have his resolve. That's the word I was looking for. The resolve, and be successful in what he was attempting.
Yeah. Yeah, he I mean, it's wild. I mean, like, to be like 11 and 13, to have that like foresight and planning and like the strategy for it. And you could say too, I mean, like, he even was like, I never had touched a sword and somehow I stood my own.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm sure it can be a little bit of like the genetic hand down of being Artorias's descendant plus Olaf's son, and
being a handyman for a child laborer.
Exactly.
I mean, that doesn't teach you sword skill at least, but it gave him like at least
Toughens
physical
you the fuck
strength and toughness for it. But
that's crazy.
But he was able to, devise a whole strategy as to how to avenge his mother. Now that's the one thing that I'm like, not confused, but I'm curious about is like, did he have like, I know he made sure that like one of his older half brothers took the blame for it, but there was a lot of siblings. So like, did he actually say that he ended up being like the successor to Olaf, or
it said he got property, or that he
tried to get it,
earned property. So what?
Yeah.
If I was to assume anything, it's that he got the portion of the brother who died, the property that belonged to him.
That makes sense.
But it's a fair question because I don't know the whole how Vikings do it, but from like a Anglo-Saxon perspective or like an Englishman's, settlement would go to the oldest kid only.
Yeah.
And everybody under wouldn't have anything really owed to them unless you can find a way to divvy
smaller
it.
things.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that.
I think that age might not. I don't know. I'm not positive. I'm just assuming off of how Canute and Harold worked, because
it seemed like more of it was going to Canute.
Yeah, well, it wasn't that more of it was going to Canute, it's that there was just like dispute amongst the people of who should be picked to be the next king. That's why they wanted Canute dead, because like half the people wanted to pick Canute, so, or at least like.
Is he the older brother?
No,
Canute's
younger.
Okay.
That's
Harold looks like, or at least the like little flash that they did of him, it looks like he's like at least like a 25-year-old or something like that.
But that's why I mean it's hard because I'm only used to a hierarchy of succession where it goes to the very next, the next eldest, the firstborn.
Yeah,
but even the Vikings TV show didn't necessarily follow that succession. It was more so just whoever took the power.
Yeah.
It was never like a. It seems like it was never a.
Who's the toughest. It's like Genghis Kongism or whatever. Whoever's the strongest
more
to
fit
take it
will
take it.
Yeah.
That is how Vikings did it. Because who did take it? Bjorn for a brief time, and then, gosh, everybody, Lagertha, Ivar,
Survivor
Harold,
of the fittest.
whoever was able at the time.
Yeah, Ragnar left. Lagertha took it.
Right, Aslog.
Yeah, Aslog.
Oh yeah, Aslog had it at one point. Then Lagertha took it from her. Then Ivar. Then Bjorn.
And then Harold, I think, was the next one to take it.
Yeah.
Jiminy Christmas.
Yeah.
And then no one.
Yeah.
Then bloody no one.
And then no one at all.
Worst ending.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, so young Askeladd, we got to revisit his story as a blacksmith with his mother, who was... they had things going well with the king, and then as soon as the king had
Accepted
his fun...
Yeah.
Or found her no more useful... got rid of her.
She was
so
ill.
she got sick
she got sick and was like, never mind.
And went from glorified to trash in a farm, which is where the kid was raised. Blacksmith. So, yeah, I love that, though. His name comes from the ashes. They said that in the courthouse, whatever, like, the king was like...
Covered in ash.
The man of ashes or something, like the man from Ash or something. And he's like, yep, wasn't given a real name. And he's like, your mistress's son then.
Yeah, he figured
Spiked the aura.
He figured it out right then and there. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that's always fun in like fantasy, and I mean, it's like a real life thing too, but like mental like amps. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just like even like Star Wars or something. Like Anakin gets pissed off, and he gets like it's like
boosted.
He's like boosted like 100 power levels.
Yeah.
And that was the same thing for Askeladd. I mean, the moment he killed Bjorn, he was like, dude, I don't even feel like toying with you right now to keep you on a leash. You know, you just shut him down and beat the crap out of him immediately.
Yeah. He's gonna kill him too.
But that can be the answer to as to why he was able to at least like stand his ground to his father when, Mom. What happened? He said her heart broke, or
her
snapped.
Her heart snapped.
So I think she just went.
She fell so in love with the idea that I think it just consumed her reality.
Or that Olaf was Artorias, and she went to like praise him.
Yeah.
He was about to just cut her down.
Yeah.
I thought I didn't remember if they said how she died, so I thought he was gonna kill her right then
Well,
and there.
because we saw the scene where he takes her to Wales.
Yeah, but once
To
again,
lay her
I
to
forgot.
rest.
Yeah. So I feel like that's what happened next.
Mm-hmm.
He looked older in that moment too, so I would assume that might be after his dad, or he killed his dad.
Maybe took his property or sold the
Sold
property, took the boats, and ran. Because he had boats.
I mean, he kept in touch with his uncle, so too.
that's
so.
Who was also in charge of the land.
Yeah.
We skipped over how Escalade just demolished Thorfinn.
Yeah, well, it's exactly like he said. It's just the different mentality. Like, young Askeladd went up against one of the best fighters and was able to hold his own for a couple seconds in a fight as a no fighter. And young Thorfinn, who's been training his whole life as a fighter under the same guy, still can't even get close to beating him. And then has the audacity, with broken arms, to still think that he's going to beat the guy.
It's
how far his delusion has gotten.
I mean, we've said it. He's so consumed by rage, where Escalade had a plan. He thought everything out. He got accepted by his dad, and then finished him.
Well, there's a difference though. Askeladd's definitely consumed by rage too, but he channels it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's before they went to the backstory and they showed the smithing of the weapons. Like when he starts talking to him, and then it does that, and then it cuts away to the next scene, and then it did the flashback. I thought he was just going to make some type of reference of harnessing the fire or something like that. I mean, it could also just be not an innuendo.
Reference.
A suggestion.
A theme. It could be a theme of some type of representation without actually saying that's what's going on. Thorfinn is pissed off, and just like Askeladd said, you get angry, you start yelling, you can't think straight, and you lose your fucking temper and lose your fight. When you go up against other people, you kick their ass.
Yeah.
He kicks Torkel's ass. He kicks, all of the other the guy that he cut the head off of. He takes on all these grown men, experienced warriors on his own, calm, cool, collected, he's going for the kill because he has a mission. And then he goes up to Askeladd. Askeladd says one thing about his dad, and he loses all control, and he just loses the fight immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas, Askeladd, granted, he has had moments where he almost slipped, in front of King Swen, but, his father, Olaf, could be man, I'm glad you're here now. Your mother was such a useless whore anyways. And Askeladd was able to keep his cool and wait for the right moment to kill the dude and have the, putting his anger in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's actually another comparison to Arya, is that she couldn't lift the sword because she was upset about what was happening in King's Landing. And her trainer was like, it doesn't matter about your emotions, you gotta harness it.
Yeah.
She couldn't lift it. The difference is Thorfinn could lift it, but then didn't know how to swing it because he let the emotions just carry the sword everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Askeladd literally listed, he was like, I can literally read you like a book. You're looking at my neck, so I know you're gonna be striking for the neck. Yeah. So, yeah, that was cool. It was a good episode overall.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that we're gonna be watching the next two, though, so that it can be in unison. Because this was a extended edition, is what it felt like. It felt like we're getting an extended edition of a scene we had already seen, but with more info. And it's fun. I think Knut... It's sad because I do feel like Askeladd is going to be parting with us, like we've been talking about. But it sucks because I think him and Knut would be a good team up.
Yeah.
Because what he was saying at the end parallels what Knut feels about God. About how... they're placed on Earth, and then he feels like the trials are unfair, and he has to be the one to be like a god to bring a paradise to people because he's too tired of waiting for a god. And then on this side, Askeladd's saying he's tired of waiting for this king-like figure or somebody to show up. He's like, it just has to be a person. Just do it. Just do the job of the god or the hero and make the paradise for yourself. Make it happen now, because this land we keep on metaphorically talking about, whether it's heaven or Vinland or America, it's we can't just wait for it. We just have to establish it here right now. Make the America or make the Vinland Scandinavia, wherever the hell we are.
Mm-hmm.
York. So I just wish Knut talked a bit more. I I felt like Canute should have resonated more with him, so I wonder if they'll talk a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, he did, but he did resonate with him because he asked him. He said, "Well, why
did you choose me?
Why are you following me?
Why
don't
not
you
you
just
become
be-"
the king?
Yeah, I mean, like that's
Why not you
like
become
because
the king?
he did show that he was like, well, you and I are pretty similar, but you have like
That's
battle
true.
experience.
Quick
You
wit.
are quick-witted. Like,
True.
he's honestly made all the right calls to get Canute to this place. So
Yeah.
he's like, so why don't you just be king? And he's like you clearly didn't understand what I was like telling you, that whole thing.
Did you ever get a feeling back during the episode where that guy who looked like Armin, back in, where was it?
Billabong?
Welsh? No, the Welsh
was
land
thinking
where we
too.
met the Roman and we went to get the bowl cut.
Yeah, I know.
Did
what
you
you're
ever get
talking
the
about.
feeling that Askeladd, before Canute came into the picture, wanted to just be the king himself? Back when Canute was still being a little turd and looking at
No.
birds. And he wasn't sure where to put the bet, but we knew that he had this notorious story that he wanted to find a king. Do you think back then that either... I got the impression he wanted to control Canute and manipulate him.
Yeah.
That was my
Same.
That was
Never
my
any
impression.
feel that he would want to be king himself? Or do you think this is a more recent conclusion that he decided, you are the proper king, I'm not going to do
Because
anything?
we had brought that up before. Like, why now is he choosing Canute?
Well,
Well, I think initially it was because he would be an easy target to manipulate.
Yeah.
And then realized... Sorry.
yeah, no, I agree with you with that. Like, it definitely, that was what we said. I don't know. He never really struck me as the person that was trying to become king.
Yeah.
Because his whole goal was just to protect,
A king.
Welsh.
well,
or-
protect the
Wales.
Welsh people,
Welsh,
Wales, all that stuff. So that was like his goal from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I never personally got the vibe for it. Because, I mean, why wouldn't he just... Like, if he just wanted to be king, he could have just a long time ago led his Vikings back there, met up with that same dude that was, like, his buddy, and been like, yo, here's the deal. I'm cool. I'm pretty smart. I'm a descendant of Artorias. This is my mother. You know who she is. Like, put me in power, or, like, work with me, and we'll each, like, just conquer all the mini kingdoms in Wales, and then we'll take over and defend the land ourselves. Like, I feel like that would have been a feasible, simple thing to do. Or not simple, it would have been difficult for sure. But, I mean, that would have been a lot more of a straightforward path than, like, running around for 10 years and then finding this random kid and then being like, oh, I'll use him just so I can become king. I don't know. To me, that just doesn't really, like, line up with his thinking that much.
I want to say that I don't think he would do that because it goes against his whole, like, hatred of Vikings, but then he did slaughter that whole village.
Oh, dude, he doesn't care.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's, like, I mean, he
It's
calls
confusing.
himself a Viking at the end of the whole
He
thing.
Yeah,
does.
did.
He does.
So, I mean, like, his hatred, it might be also, like, a self-hatred of
I was
just, like,
just about to say
knowing what he is.
Does he hate himself?
But, like, I mean, he has to know the dude. He's a scumbag.
Yeah.
I think it's like the self-awareness. I think he he hates them for being dogs. But he also can't remove himself. But I think it's like that little justification in his own mind. It's like, at least I know I'm a monster. Where they just think they're awesome. They just think they're like these awesome dudes. But at least I'm aware of what I'm doing in the end.
Those are always better
That's
bad
why.
guys.
That's why.
That's what I said. That's what I'm saying. That's why I always like people like that.
That's why I think he said that to Canute. That you have the face for a king. He's just so much horrible shit, and he hates himself. He's not fit to be a king.
Well, I don't really think there's any, like, pride of him, like, thinking that he... Like, yeah, he doesn't really say anything that's like, oh, I've killed people, I'm a bad guy, I can't be king. I think that's...
Yeah.
Like, that's not, like, really, like, a thing for these people, you know what I mean? Canute was fine.
Yeah.
Canute didn't want to put down some random slave woman, you know what I mean? Like, Canute... even though Canute was not the one that made the call of killing all that village... That blood's on his hands too. That was all for him to become. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't make the choice exactly, but it was for him to stay alive.
Same with Ragnar's silence. I think the only one who spoke up against it and got his face bashed in was Willibald.
Yeah,
He's the only dude.
and I mean, he used a decoy slave. They bought a slave woman just to get assassinated. And
That I don't know if that's Canute. That was Askeladd.
Yeah, but he said, I'm not letting another person take my place. I mean, Canute had to have some... Canute seemed to, like, have some idea of what was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think he knew there was going to be a ploy, but he seemed pissed off and yelled at Askeladd, and right after that said, we're never doing that again. And he's like, I apologize, my king.
either way, he still has blood on his hands. But
Yeah.
that doesn't
for
make
sure,
him
for sure.
But that doesn't make him like a not worthy to be king.
And this is also Askeladd realizing he's at his expiration date. Like the whole
I'm old.
whole Ragnarok
Yeah.
episode
Yeah.
back on that monument of a hill was him like kind of saying this is the last hurrah. So just the whole way he talks seems like that's why it's frustrating because he's the most interesting character and there's just by the episode a more weighing feeling that he's not going to be a season 2-er, which is so annoying because who the hell are we going to have in season 2?
Knut.
I mean,
Yeah, Knut's interesting. Thorfinn begrudgingly is interesting, and then
Broski.
yeah.
I mean, Thorfinn. Here's the thing: Thorfinn has to
That's
wisen
what's
up.
I
exciting.
got like 3 characters I like.
Thorfinn has to wisen up. I mean, I don't know if he will, like, kill Askeladd, and Askeladd would be like, by the way, Floki told me to do it. Like, I don't know if that's how it's going to happen. He's going to have to find out about that at some point. And that might change. Like, honestly.
Floki's surviving this season. Son of a
Absolutely.
bitch.
Well, yeah.
I thought he would be dead, actually.
No, but, like, Thorfinn at least is having some mental breakdown of, like, wait, what is going on now? So, I'm hoping that these next 3 episodes, he's really going to, like, come to his own and realize, like, okay, maybe I need to rethink how I've been living the past 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He can still be a Viking. He can still get vengeance. He can still fight and do things.
His voice acting is good. Thorfinn.
I
mean, all of them
it's
are
good.
great.
Thorfinn's is great, yeah.
I agree with you, just because Thorkel and Knut were like, why are they even fighting?
Yeah, nobody
He was like, I don't even know.
Like, somebody else will learn about it.
Yeah.
And then, like, this...
Thorfinn's gonna find
maybe
out.
someone can... Like, honestly, maybe it really could be Knut at the end of the day that could get him to be like, bro, listen to me. I understand what you're fighting for.
Well, I thought it happened because Knut touched him and Thorfinn dropped to his knees and had that look of, like, that Bjorn had when he fucking woke up.
True.
I thought that happened.
Oh, his miracle touch.
Yeah.
Stop, demon!
Yeah.
Well, speaking of voices and just great moments, I love Thorfinn's yell at the end. You could really feel the pain
Yeah.
mixed with
His
the
fucking mouth is-
confusion.
Oh, okay.
well, you can when Aaron from our other show cries and screams, you can hear like a double thing of what's going on, like a psycho within the crying. Like you can hear that he's both emotional, but also like
And
a mental
breaking down.
Yeah.
breaking has occurred. Where this, it felt like he was super emotional, but because he realizes like he doesn't want to let go of the rage is what it sounded like. Like I played it back. It sounds like he literally doesn't want to let go of this long thing he's committed his whole life to, but he's also super emotional because he probably realizes he's wrong. So it's like this hybrid cry. It's so good.
Yeah.
I don't know how these guys sit in a room and just decide that this is the cry I'm going to do today, because cries are very distinct. So
Yeah.
it's
I'm
so
sure.
good.
I'm
They
sure.
probably
it's-
do like 100 takes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it probably comes from like 100 takes and also director and some.
Yeah.
But
putting yourself in it.
putting yourself there. That's one thing that's interesting too about just not just like anime acting, but just any behind the scenes stuff I've seen for movies or TV shows that we have watched or something where they really dive deep into what a character should be feeling in this moment, and sometimes you even get actors that will know their characters so well. It's oh yeah, I know I can feel the anxiety that this character feels, or I can feel the confusion and sorrow that is happening right now, and they're able to articulate it into a physical and visualize it emotionally for people to see, or portray it through their voice. But yeah, so Thorfinn's voice actor really
Even
great.
the kid one. The kid one, because that was the episode I always think back to, is the first kill. I always talk about it in the post talks because his blood curdle scream was so it just so I don't know.
Real.
It just landed in my ear it hasn't left. There's sounds that don't leave my ear, based off how they do in the performance spot.
Back to Askeladd thinking that he's gonna part from us. I thought it was gonna happen this episode just because it's called Lone Wolf, and he had a veil over his face this entire episode, at least the entire beginning.
Yeah.
There's lots of darkness. You couldn't see his face, and he looked older in this episode too.
And your flashback stuff too. Like every time we see a flashback, it's like, all right, are they parting from us
Yes,
today?
that.
Because I'm just so.
But there wasn't an epic fight.
Yeah, I was indoctrinated into when a character gets a flashback that hasn't had a flashback.
It's usually means they're gonna die.
They're
next
dead.
episode.
It's always a
making you
side character.
they're making you feel sympathetic for them just to kill them off. So I thought we were gonna get that.
Wow, this music's getting really good. Wow, he's actually kicking ass. Wait.
Yeah, it's always like what?
Wait.
Something. They start to. You hear the choir. It's
Yeah.
in Vikings too. You hear the choir like. Oh gosh,
Yep.
who's leaving right now? Why
Yep.
did the production value just get really intense?
Yeah.
Alright, I'm ready to jump into the next
Yeah,
one.
and that
So,
battery's about to die.
guys, if you like this video, make sure you leave a like on it. Comment down below what you thought when you first watched this episode, The Lone Wolf. What are your thoughts on Askeladd at this point when you watched it? Also, just go to Spoiler Town for anime only, not manga, because we will be caught up by the time this video releases. So welcome to the chat. We'll be joining the chat. And for the time being, we'll see you in the next video.
Punch it.
We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah!